Dr. Gonsalves, of the $65 million that has been spent on medicinal marijuana, how much of that money has trickled down to traditional marijuana farmers?
You see, I don't know where this number comes from, about 65 million. But I have a lot of stuff here which, to give the lie about ganja, I have a document here, Medicinal Cannabis Authorities in Vincent and the Grenadines, up to the end of September. There are 17 applicants, license holders, companies, traditional cultivators groups, 10. Traditional cultivators who have licenses, 37. Local business people, cultivators, not traditional, 20. Local manufacturing company, 4. The lands under the control of foreign investor companies for the licensed land acreage, 188.7 acres. The amount licensed for the traditional groups and the traditional cultivators, 172 acres. For local cultivators, afford us 70.6 acres. For local manufacturing companies, afford us 20.5 acres, amounting therefore to 264 acres, compared to those on non-Vincentian licenses, 189 acres. You know, man does talk a whole lot of foolishness, you know. It's not everything you hear them talk about. Just like, I want, permit me to say this. The fellow's approaches to ganja is so wrong. Look, there's an international law, international convention dealing with marijuana. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as a small country, has to follow international law. Every country, because international law protects us. International law generally. You know, the opposition told me in Parliament, including lawyers on the other side. They say, you're coward. I say, I'm coward because I don't want to break international law. I find a way to put a practical program in place within the 4 walls of international law. For instance, the international law, you can't legalize or decriminalize ganja. But you can depenalize small quantities. So I pass a law saying you can have up to 56 grams, which is 2 ounces. You can't get arrested for it. You can't get jailed for it. You can't have a record for it. And if you say it's not yours, they meet you with it. All the magistrate could do is to fine you up to $500, but no jail, nothing at all. They say that no, people still get locked up for spliff. An absolute lie. Then you can't go and say on 2 grounds and tell, well, 3 grounds, you can't tell people to plant. They say they're going to allow you to plant up to 5 ganja plant. I don't know if you ever see a ganja plant. Ganja plant grow to 10 feet. So if you allow it to do 5 plants, that's 50 feet of ganja in everybody's backyard. There are 3 things wrong with that. First of all, it breaks international law, and I come back to that. Secondly, an international law is there to protect us in other respects. Secondly, the male of the ganja plant, and the scientists here would understand it and they can read it up, would cross-pollinate, and it will destroy the medical cannabis industry, which has to be an export industry primarily. Because for medical marijuana, you have to have seed to sale and proper testing. If you have cross-fertilization, cross-pollination, it's not possible to have open field growing of medical marijuana. You'll have to grow it in greenhouses, which is more expensive, on several counts. And the other thing is this: a single parent, a woman, she has a couple children going to secondary school, some young ones she taking care of. Before she make tea in the morning, her 11+ son or daughter going to write CPA. Somebody on the block tell them you're going to do very well if you organize and smoke a spliff before you drink your tea in the morning. So when the mother called, a couple of days before they done pick what they had to pick and cure it, sun it and so forth. And while the mother making breakfast, they done smoke 2 spliff. They come into the exam room high. They ain't lifting their head higher, you know, for the exam. They're lifting it higher for something else. Because in the case of ganja, you can use ganja properly, you can misuse ganja, you can abuse ganja.
Thank
There
you,
are
Doctor.
persons who use it properly, persons who don't use it properly, they abuse it and misuse it. And in any event, they think they're getting votes with that from Rastafari. The Rastafari community is absolutely angry that you can treat their sacrament in such a cavalier manner, to put 50 feet of ganja in everybody's yard. It's such an absurd proposition that you don't even know how to begin it. And when they talk glibly, but you have to subject it to serious inquiry. And listen to what you're telling you.
Thank you, Dr. Gonsalves.